Yes. Wait, there we go. We're live. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Book Chat with Tracie and Lashell. I am Tracie. I'm about to send you over to Lashell so that she can say hello. But first, I wanted to give you guys a little heads up. We are talking to romance author J.C. Hannigan tonight, and she is experiencing a little bit of trouble with her microphone, so she's going to be a little quieter than we are. Most people are, but hers is a microphone issue, not just a Tracie and Lashell issue. So anyway, Lashell, I'm going to pass over to you, let you say hi, and we'll get this thing started.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm just going to jump right in. So, JC, Tracy and I are always eager to learn about the writing process of other authors. So, can you tell us about yours? Are you a plotter or a pantser?
I am a plantser, so I'm a bit of both. I kind of plot a little bit at the beginning, but when I'm writing, it sometimes doesn't matter. Like I just tend to go with the flow and let the story take me wherever it takes me, and sometimes I don't even look at the outline again. So
Really?
yeah, like Collide was not supposed to go the way it went at all.
Ooh, now I'm intrigued. I want to know how it was supposed to go.
Well,
You
Tracy's going, don't answer that.
you don't have to answer that question.
okay, that might be a spoiler, or
Yeah.
Yeah, no spoilers on this show.
You don't have to say anything. Okay, so I basically wrote a novel when I wanted to ask you this question here on the second question, because it's really you do something really intriguing with your writing. Because writing a series nowadays, especially for the self-published author, it's an awesome marketing strategy, but it's a great idea. And usually with the romance series, you do one of two things. Not you personally, but romance authors do one of two things. One, they write a series that follows a specific couple through the entire journey, kind of like every series that I've ever published. You have my Just a Little series, Breaking series. It follows one couple in each series. Or then you have the second kind, like Lashell's Kelly family novellas that follow a different couple in each book, and somehow all of those couples are related or tied together. But you're doing something that's really cool, and it's something that I really like. Your series is only following one person. It's following your main character. And what I really like is that romance, nowadays, it's about getting from point A to point B. Basically, they meet, they live happily ever after. And what I'm kind of getting with you is, in your books, is that we are getting to experience this journey with Harlow where it's like this real life experience. You never really experience love one time or a first kiss one time. We fall in love many, many times in our lives. Some people do, I guess. I'm rambling right now. So anyway, it's not just about one meet cute or one first kiss or one passionate love. And sometimes it's not even about achieving a happy ending. So with your books, what I'm getting is that sometimes a happy ending takes a while, or maybe it's not about the happy ending at all. Is there some kind of message that you're trying to send to readers about romance or love or expectations?
oh, that is a novel. Okay.
Sorry.
Um, well, when the Collide series starts, Harlow is 17 years old. So I do believe it's possible to find the one when you're that young, but I kind of think that for a lot of us, that's not always the case. Like,
Right.
I know I'm definitely not with anybody that I was with when I was 17. So, like, I guess what I wanted to do is we've had our hearts broken and we've been bloodied by love. Like it wasn't easy for us, and I didn't want it to make it easy for my characters because I just wanted to show like young women that it's okay to fall more than once and there's nothing wrong with you. Um, I wanted Harlow and my other female characters to learn the same way I did through trial and error.
Yeah.
So you know, I wanted them to have their hearts broken and bruised and rely on themselves and their friends before they placed all of their, well-being and mental like care, I guess, into somebody else's hands. So I guess I really wanted this because when I was younger, I would read all these books and it's like, oh, Cinderella ends up with Prince Charming and gets married and has no problems and everything's great and perky and perfect. So I thought like when you fell in love the first time that was it and that was your forever. Because it's what happens in books and movies and like everywhere. But in reality, you have to kiss a couple frogs to get to the prince. So
Yeah. I love that. That is totally awesome.
That is a cool approach.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I don't know anybody else do.
Pardon?
She's doing it again. Lashell.
Sorry.
You froze on us again. You've got to stop that.
I froze again? Really?
You spoke robot. What was that in English?
That was robot.
No, I just said that's a really cool approach, and I don't know anybody else that's doing that.
I don't either. Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess I like to be different, kind of.
We like that about you.
So when did you know that writing was your passion?
Oh, well, I've always loved reading, and, you know, like, I can always remember writing these little short stories, I guess, and the first one that I wrote was this ridiculous little mini-series about this girl and her horse, because I really wanted a horse, and my parents wouldn't get me one, because, you know, they're really expensive. So I would write the series to kind of live through it, and it would just be this crazy little adventure type thing, her going on trail rides, and it was all happy and whatever. So that started when I was like 12, and like from there I kept writing. I blogged, I had diaries, I just was always writing. When I was 16, I tried to write a book. I actually got pretty far in it for being 16 and you know, distracted with life. It was about a high school student with multiple hereditary exostosis, which is the bone disorder that I had. And I wanted to write a story about this girl who was living with this disability and having surgeries and just not focused the same way her friends were. So yeah, I got pretty far in that, and then I stopped for whatever reason. But I guess forever. I used to write on walls when I was 4.
In that case, I might have a writer on my hands because my son likes to write on things too. So, hey. So we're going to talk about writing a lot tonight. And obviously I love talking about writing, but before we jump back into that, I'm all about books. I like reading books, and as an author, it's just as much an important part of what we do, reading as writing. So how often do you find time to read, and what do you always find yourself coming back to? What kinds of books do you read? What are your favorites?
Oh, okay. Well, I literally read at least 2 books a week, like at least. Even with everything going on. Sometimes more. Like this week I read 6 or 7 books. Just like I don't even know how I did it, but I'm a huge sucker for anything with that romantic element. Like it could be a horror story, but so long as there's a little romance, I'll read it. I like paranormal books, suspense, mystery, thrillers, shifter novels. I'm pretty much like I'll read anything I get my hands on at least once. I recently got into Ginger Scott's books, and I literally have read like I guess like 4 of them in the past 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah. I really love the Ugly Cry books. Like if you toss in some kind of emotional conflict or just something that really like rips your heart out, I'm like, yes, this feels so painful. I love it.
Oh no!
I like words that make me feel. So if you can make me feel something, then you're gonna have me like, you know.
Have I got a recommendation for you?
Oh no! What is it, Lashell? Talk to us.
That's coming up in a couple of months when we talk to Mika James.
Oh no! Okay. That's our next author interview. So apparently I'm not going to be very happy because I like happy books. I don't like sad books.
I really like the emotional rawness and the broken, flawed characters. So, but I like happy too. Like if they could be happy at the same time as they're broken, then that would be good. You know, like.
No, I'm all like rainbows and butterflies and unicorns. once things get too sad and too real, I'm like, this is not fiction anymore. Life sucks.
like watching some like Hoarders or something. Like you watch that and you're like, ah, my house is clean. Like it makes you feel better. Like at least for whatever's happening, at least you know it's not that bad.
That's true. Oh man. Okay, Lashell, what do you have next for us?
Okay. Well, I spend a lot of time trying to understand why I write the things that I do, like why I write in the genres that I write. And so I always wonder this about other authors as well. What made you choose to write young adult, new adult romance?
That's a good one. Well, I guess it's because I can only really write what I know and what I've experienced. Like I can't really envision what an empty nester is gonna feel because I'm not at that point in my life. Uh, Not yet. Anyway, like I'll probably write about that too. But I'm really good with the angst and that kind of thing, so I go with that. And I love love like a lot, so that's also a huge part of why I write romance and new adult. And I guess for me, new adult is so it's like so broad. Like they're growing, they're changing. Everything about them is constantly just different, and I like that. Like I like the constant change. Like they're not the same character that they were at the beginning of the book because they're growing. So I like that. Yeah, I just find like if you can relate to it, you can express it really good. So why?
I like that very much so because that's one of the reasons that I truly love writing young adult, new adult. It's you're at that age and that point in your life where it's really okay to not be that same person at the very end that you were at the beginning.
Yeah.
And we're writing in a genre that is completely evolving right now, which is awesome.
Yes. Yes. I like that.
So,
Oh,
I'm sorry?
what's Lashell's answer?
Oh yeah, Lashell, sorry.
Well, I don't write young adults, so I
She's speaking robot again.
I don't write young adult, so
No, but you do write, very specific things. So why do you write what you write?
I don't
We're
know.
putting you on the spot now.
Okay. Well, I write romantic suspense, but all of my romantic suspense centers around cops. And I know cops aren't very popular right now, but I married a cop, and
Yay.
I love hearing his work stories and his war stories, and I turn those into romances, basically. And I write werewolves because I've always been fascinated by werewolves.
I blame the beast.
Yeah, and I write rock stars because, come on, I love rock stars.
I don't know how we're friends because like rock stars are like and werewolves are like and
Yeah, we're kind of polar opposites.
I do like a good policeman though.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, JC,
Serve
back
and
to you. Since you're the one we're supposed to be focusing on. Lashell and I, that's what kind of like what I just said. I don't know how we're friends because we can't agree on anything ever.
Except that we love each other.
Oh. Okay. So one of the things that we just could not, we're polar opposites on, is that she's totally down with the idea of writing an anthology or working with other writers to create a final project. And I'm terrified of the idea of working with other writers. I know that I can rely on myself most of the time, so I'm okay with working alone. How do you feel do you feel like your process requires you to work alone, or do you think you would ever be open to the idea of collaborating with someone on something?
That's a hard question to answer. I've never tried it, so like usually when I write, I'm throwing sentences out in between, wrangling kids and cleaning the house and doing other things. So I can't really imagine what it would be like to try and do that with another author, like
Right.
how I would fit them into it. but I think it would be worth exploring. Like K.L. Grayson and B.T. Arilla are writing a really like a novel together that I like need to get like now, even though it's not done yet, but I need it now. And I'm really interested in seeing how that plays out because she's a fantastic writer and he's really great too. And like I want to see how this comes into play. I think I would be interested in it. Like I'm not opposed to it. But to be successful, you have to have somebody that like I guess a fellow author that gets your style and gets your voice and respects it and amplifies it and harmonizes with it. Otherwise, I think it would obviously flop. Like,
Yeah,
so I'm open
absolutely.
to it. I don't really think I could pull it off right now. Plus, I'm kind of type A, so I'd be like, no, no. But I don't know. Like, I'd have to try. It's one of those things that you'd have to kind of try, at least a little. I think, maybe.
Well, if I ever come around to the idea of possibly doing it, and you ever come around to the idea of possibly doing it, I'll give you a call.
Yes.
I'll give you a call. We'll have to get Lashell to like mediate or something once we start pulling each other's hair out. Be like, no.
Counseling lessons for us both.
Okay, so let's get back to Collide. Where did the inspiration for that story come from?
Oh.
Something you want to tell us?
Yeah.
This question always makes me cringe a little bit because the answer is kind of mortifying in a way.
Oh no.
I was just joking.
How about okay, time out, ladies. I'm sorry. I know I promised not to talk over anybody this time, and I've already like broken that promise 1,000 times. Before we actually jump into answering this question, could you give our viewers a tiny idea of what Collide is about so that they understand?
So that they understand my angst.
Where we're coming from. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Collide is about a 17-year-old girl named Harlow Jones who falls for her English teacher. And
Woohoo!
You would like that. She's had a rough go, and she's had a lot of traumatic experiences, and she moves to a town called North Bay in Ontario, yay North Bay, and she wants to restart and kind of get through school and just do her own thing and not have a repeat. So on the first day of school, she meets this guy, and that's the beginning there. She meets the guy who is the English teacher, and from there it's just this crazy series of events and yeah, I don't really know what else to say without giving spoilers or
Right.
That's plenty.
read the book.
Read the book. You definitely want to read the book.
Yeah.
So then that takes us right back to Lashell's question. Where did the inspiration for this story come from?
Right.
I like this question a lot because I get asked this question a lot because I have a series that's very similar with high school girl and the teacher. So yeah, I want to hear this answer.
All right. I love that series, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Diversion. Okay. So the basic idea for the story was obviously the student-teacher dynamic. Like I was into that. Like I don't know many people who wouldn't be into that. Just in an offbeat way. So I think all of us had that one teacher that in high school that was just cute or desirable in any way. Like maybe he wasn't all that hot, but maybe for whatever reason, compared to the rest of the teachers, he was hot. Okay. So we had that one teacher. And I sort of watched how all of my female peers and myself reacted to him and how we flirted with him and how we mortified him and embarrassed him on the daily. And never
Oh, bless his heart.
never, ever, ever, ever. But I just thought it would be kind of funny to fictionalize it and go from there, and and I thought my classmates and everybody who's ever had that teacher would be like, oh, thank you. Harlow's character was inspired by a lot of women in my life, and mainly the one that I wanted to be in high school, like that tough cookie, like nothing phases her. She goes for what she wants. She's been through hell and she's still fighting. So I wanted to incorporate that into the main character there. Such a big question too when you think about it. Like there's so much inspiration for that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so Lashell. Oh, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I basically just wanted to write for like I wanted to write a really strong female character that makes mistakes and is kind of weak at times and maybe a little foolish, but you can still relate to her because she's trying and she's not a doormat about it. So
right.
That's what I loved about her.
Mm-hmm. She's very strong.
Yeah.
So I actually, as JC was talking about the whole student-teacher thing, I see Lashell down here in this little thumbnail nodding her head like, yeah, she knew she had a cute teacher in school, so I'm going to have to catch up with Lashell on that one. She's just,
hey, Tracy, you had that teacher. Come on.
No, yeah, listen, so we did, like, very similar to yours, only mine was funny because in high school, boys were not even on my radar at all. Like, I was focused on school and artsy stuff, but boys just no way. So we did. We had that teacher. He was a first-year teacher, I think my sophomore or junior year, and I got to sit back and watch all the girls like throw themselves at him, and I actually thought it was kind of hilarious because I'm like, you guys are such losers. Like, what are you doing? Like, he's your teacher. Like, stop. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we had that teacher too, but mine was a little different because it wasn't me trying to. I'm like throwing my hands everywhere.
I didn't try hard, like hard, but it wasn't like
Lashell, did you marry your teacher?
I did not. I did not. But I totally relate to what you're saying because for me he was not even really a teacher. He was like a student teacher. He was, doing his student teaching thing. I can't even remember his name, but yeah, all the girls were just, oh my God, yeah. It was very amusing.
So to any of our male viewers out there, if there are any, teaching's the job to get into if you want to get the younger girls. So,
right?
I can't believe I just said that. Okay.
I just caught that. Oh my God.
Oh, this show has just taken a turn for the worse.
It usually does.
It usually does somewhere.
Isn't this about the point where things just fall apart? I'm sitting over here trying to get students and teachers to like hook up. I don't.
Oh, all the high school student males are just taking note of this. I know what I'm going to be when I grow up. But you know what? Girls have it too. Guys always have that one hot teacher as well. Like I know my husband did, and he was telling me about how they reacted to her too, and it's just hormones, man.
Van Halen, hot for teacher.
Okay, so I guess on that same note, like my next question kind of deals with it. Because yeah, like we've talked about this. I have a series that's very similar, and 17-year-old girl, and she falls for her high school teacher. So I'm a sucker for forbidden romance. I love it. I think it's awesome. And if you tell me that a girl can't have a guy, I will make sure she gets that guy. That's all there is to it. So anyway, this subject that you're writing about, it's especially this first book, it's very taboo, and a lot of people frown upon it. Like, I remember someone saying to me, Tracy, don't you understand what you're writing? Do you understand how this is not going to be okay with some people? I'm like, yeah, I get it, but I don't care. The story is in me, and I have to get it out of me. So did you ever have that moment where there were people telling you, no, you can't do this, or you shouldn't do it, and you're like, you know what, I'm right, people are totally not going to be okay with this? Or did you just trust your gut and go with it?
I mainly trusted my gut because I was all, well, if this dude can write a romance about a toaster, then maybe this will be easy. And that is a book.
What book is this?
It's slipping my mind, but I think it's Toaster Loving or something along those lines.
I'm writing that down.
There's a lot of books out there that had me going, Well, what I want to write about is not that bad compared to dinosaur erotica, so I'm gonna stick with it. You know, I guess I guess the difficult part would have been the intimate scene, and it had very little to do with the taboo subject. I'll tell you that right now. Like I kind of forgot that Harlow was 17 because just I think when you're reading it too, you feel like she's a bit older. Like you're like, oh, it's okay, she's older, you know. So I could forget her age. It was mostly like it was mostly the fact that I'd never written a book before and I'd never written, scenes like that. And I was just envisioning like my dad and my grandma reading it, and I'm like, I can't do this. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, can I write these scenes without these words? Because you know. But yeah, I basically needed several talks with some close friends of mine and some author friends and some betas, and they were like, seriously, just get over it and just write it. And then I made my dad promise to skip those scenes. And like, yeah, maybe he'll just read the first page and the last page, and that'll be enough. But yeah,
I love that.
Once I got over that initial horror, everything just kind of just, it was fairly easy to write about.
Yeah, I kind of your way of thinking there kind of reminds me of Lashell, because I can see Lashell being like, "Mom, please don't read this. Please don't read this, Mom. My mom's gonna read this. Please don't read it."
Please just skip like chapter, 5, 6, 7. Just read the Yeah.
Lashell, have you had those moments where you're like, "Mom, don't read this"?
No, I have never asked her not to read anything, but my mom, she loves romance and her love of reading, that's where I get it from, but she has read every single word that I've written.
Awesome.
And there are times when I will go back and reread something that I've written, and I will think, "Oh my God, my mom read this."
Oh.
Yeah.
It's taken by the toaster.
Yes! You guys have no idea how excited I am about this.
Oh my God.
Taken by the toaster. Now, JC, this is it. This actually isn't on my list of questions to ask you, but it's come up in conversation, so I have to ask, how is it that you came across Taken by the Toaster? Was this something you were looking for?
Oh yeah, toaster erotica totally does it for me. So yeah. No, I'm part of a lot of book groups, and we'll all spend time on Amazon, and sometimes these things will turn up. And as for the dinosaur erotica, it was this funny video of like a man and a woman reading the book like out loud and laughing and just
Wow.
they're everywhere. And I heard about Moan for Bigfoot from this article on Huffington Post ago. So yeah.
Wow.
I mean, anyone who knows me, like they know that things make me blush very easily. I didn't even know that like dinosaur erotica or toaster
Bigfoot erotica. I did not know that existed.
I didn't know this stuff was real, because people still will say things like 50 Shades of Grey, and I'm like,
you're welcome.
So I'm having trouble processing toaster erotica.
You're so gonna Google that the second we're done, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, I totally am. You heard it here first, folks. I'm going to check out toaster erotica.
Or maybe they didn't.
No, I'm checking it out. That's what they heard here first. Maybe you didn't. Maybe some of our viewers really like toaster erotica. Okay. So, Lashell, why don't you move us on into the next question? Because
so tell us what you're working on now. Anything new?
A billion things.
Oh.
Like most of us.
Oh gosh. Okay. So the upcoming one is I'm re-releasing Consumed, so it'll be available in paperback. And for those of you that don't know, Consumed is the sequel, the second book of the Collide series. So it follows Harlow in university, and yeah. So that's first. And I also just finished writing the third book of that series, and it's called Collateral. it'll release probably sometime next year. I'm not really sure on the dates just yet. Um, yeah, but coming up in September is the release of my new novel, Damaged Goods, and it's whole new characters, different, no teachers.
Aw, darn.
Oh, I know, I'm sorry. But yeah, so that's being released this fall, and it's about a girl who has been in love with the same guy all of high school, and kind of how they give it a go, but also about her path of self-discovery. I'm kind of making it sound a little boring. Sorry. So that's the
Nonsense.
book in the Damage series, and I've written the sequel for that. It's coming next year.
Nice.
Yeah, that one's going to be called Reckless Abandon, and it's yeah, the sequel.
Wow. You're so organized.
I know, I'm like furiously taking notes.
I feel kind of weird though, because I'm releasing the Damage series before the final Collide book, Collateral. So I'm like, my OCD's kicking in. I'm like, I should move this, but people really want the Damage series, so I'll have to chill.
Sounds good.
I think, well, before I tell you guys this, I did just get a text message. I told you that I was hoping I wouldn't get any messages during the show saying, oh, the show's not working or something, and that's not what happened. I actually just got a text message that said we have taken this show to a whole new level. So
I'm not sure if that's good or bad.
yes!
Erotica. It's sorry.
It was the toaster erotica that did it. So, yeah, anyway, I have to turn my phone over because the messages keep coming. Okay. So, I think it's time for lightning round. Are you ready for this, JC?
Okay, hang on 1 second. Okay.
Deep breaths.
Deep breath.
Deep breaths.
It's time. And by lightning round, I mean I'm going to not do this too fast because, all right, anyway. Coffee or tea?
Coffee and tea. Coffee.
I think I said or, right? Like I said or. Okay, coffee and tea. Okay. I feel like I'm going to get the same answer for this one. Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Oh, okay.
Definite.
Cake or pie?
Cake?
I'm judging you a little.
Yeah.
Beach or mountains?
Oh, mountains.
Nice. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Still judging you. Summer or fall?
Summer.
Still judging you. Rock or hip hop? Ooh, stumped her.
Now I'm judging you.
Oh, now she's really judging you. You had to think about it and you chose the wrong one.
What do you mean by rock? It could be like rock or it could be like something else, you know? I don't know.
All right.
AC/DC?
Like AC/DC? I don't.
If it's new rock, maybe.
New Rock is okay.
Okay, and then finally, because Lashell and I are pretty okay with this being boy chat instead of book chat, you'll learn that about us. So we have to ask the boy question. Zac Efron or Theo James? Uh-huh.
You know, yeah, Theo
Yeah.
James, but to Zac Efron's credit, he looks very, very good now that he's not, 16 and in High School Musical.
I think so too.
He grew up very well.
He's growing up quite nicely.
Yeah?
Yeah, like high five, you did good.
He should be a teacher. Okay, so Lashell, before we wrap up our interview and everything, was there anything else that you wanted to ask JC before we start book recommendations or book talking and throwing stuff out there?
I've heard rumors that one of these books in the Clyde series is actually centered on Mr. Bentley, who I have a huge crush on. Can you confirm or deny?
Yes, Mr. Bentley will be getting his own happily ever after
Yay!
with Lashell.
Wait now. What about Gare Bear? What about Lashell's husband? What do we do with him?
Brother husband, is that what they're called? Like sister wife, only brother husband? No, they don't. They do that? Can we do that?
My head hurts. Yeah.
Yes, I am right.
That's funny.
Right now for Ian. I have no idea what it's called, but yep.
I'm happy. I'm happy that's happening.
Not gonna lie, pretty hot.
Okay, so I'll do a quick thanks. We're not dismissing you, and you better not leave us yet. But just do a quick thanks for letting us talk to you tonight and for joining us, because this was really fun and awesome.
Well, thank you for having me.
We loved it.
Thank you for coming.
So much fun. But if you want to
book recommendations for the Taken by the Toaster and other
I'm always happy when my friends are ready and willing to offer book recommendations. But on that note, which is actually a great segue for us, on that note, Lashell and I wanted to, after she finally stops giggling, touch base with you guys about what we're reading right now or what we're getting ready to start reading. So Lashell, do you want to give us an idea of what's going on your end?
Sure. I just started reading. I haven't even read the first word yet, but I just pulled it up on my Kindle. It's called Torkel's Chosen by Michelle Howard.
Okay.
And it's sci-fi romance, and I'm really excited to get into it. Yeah. And there's this other little book called Consumed by someone named Tracie Hannigan something.
I suppose I could recommend that book and say that it's okay. Yeah, great. You should totally read it. It's awesome. Right now, I've been trying to get through this book for a few weeks, and that's not me saying that the book's not a great book, because it is. I've just been super, super busy. But it's called If Only It Were True, and it is the cutest book in the world, and I love it, and I really, really, really want to finish it. And then yesterday I don't think it was yesterday, and I don't even think it was 2 days ago, but sometime recently, I picked up a few books in a Nora Roberts series, because I don't feel like I'm reading enough Nora Roberts, and that should be like the biggest crime any romance author could commit. So I'm going to read a few of those alongside with a Mika James book, because we are going to be interviewing Mika James, and what month is that, July?
It's July.
Wow.
And the book is called Fiendish, if you want to read along with us.
Yeah, you totally should. You should totally read along with us. JC, what are you reading right now? Or did you finally take a break after your 6 million book read this week?
Do you want the short list or the long list?
We'll take the short one.
Okay, so I'll do my top faves. Can I do that?
Sure.
Oh God, that's like all of them. Okay, hang on. Okay, The Law of Moses by Amy Harmon. I loved that book, like devoured it.
I have heard so much about that book.
Oh my God, like Moses, book boyfriend, hello. I don't even know what to say about that book other than anything that I say to get you to read it is just going to make it sound not as good as, like, it's amazing. So.
What's this book called?
The Law of Moses.
Yeah, and it's 99 cents on sale at Kindle right now. So, you know.
All these book recommendations by JC. Amazing.
And then You and Everything After by Ginger Scott. I loved that book. As I mentioned, I have a physical disability, so I'm really drawn to characters that also have physical disabilities. And both of the main characters, the male and the female, had their own physical disabilities. So I loved that book because not only was there that element, but very, very wonderful, like, chemistry. Yep. Yeah, it's all there. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so before we start plugging things and getting into what we're doing and what we have going on, I want to run the book chat schedule by you guys. So coming up next month in June, we're actually going to be doing our show on a Thursday instead of a Friday, so join us on June 25th, where Lashell and I are going to be talking about book signings and conferences, because we will be fresh off of our first book signing and getting ready to head into the Romance Writers of America conference in July. In July, we do have our author interview with Mika James, and then in August, we are going to be talking about the writing process, and we're really going to get into Lashell's writing process and my writing process and kind of how things generally work on a very general scale, because everyone has a different way of doing things. You like how I did that, Lashell? Okay. So anyway, this is about the time where we start plugging things and a little shameless self-promotion. I don't have anything book-related to plug right now, but I did want to say that if you guys are going to be in town on Saturday the 6th, is that right, Lashell? Is it the 6th?
That is right.
Awesome. If you're going to be in town, and by town I mean Dayton, Ohio, you should totally come and check out the One More Romance Author book signing event in Dayton. We'll be at the Downtown Marriott. And you know what? Even if you're not in town, make it to town. Make it to Dayton and come and watch Lashell and I, because we are going to be signing our first book signing, and that's pretty exciting.
Together.
So, together. Like
We're stoked.
They gave us tables together.
Together. What were they thinking?
They are so screwed. They have no idea what they did. Okay.
They're too distracting. They need to go on timeout. That's what's going to happen.
Yep. They'll be like, okay, you got to put Tracie on one end of the room and Lashell on the other. But it's going to be so much fun, and we are very excited. What we're kind of hoping will happen is that we will meet a lot of new romance writers that you guys will eventually get to meet on the show. That's kind of what we're going in hoping we can accomplish, in addition to signing books and meeting you guys and seeing you guys. Yeah. So, Lashell, do you have anything you want to plug?
I don't have anything, no new books coming out for a couple of months, so I don't have anything really to plug. But after we do our signing in Dayton, I have another one in July in Columbus. That one is the Ever After Author of Fate, July 18th in Columbus. That's all I got.
She didn't invite me to that one. I didn't get an invite to that one. She was like, one book signing with Tracie is enough. I'm doing this one by myself. And she's laughing because she doesn't want to deny it. Look at her. Look at her.
No, honestly, I thought she's going to think I am such a dweeb if I make her do this one with me, too.
Lashell, sweetheart, I already think you're a dweeb. You couldn't make it any worse. But, I love you. Okay, so JC, what do you have going on? I know we already talked about a lot of what you're doing, but do you have anything that you want to plug for us now?
I do.
Awesome.
I'm actually doing my first author signing as well. I don't have somebody to, well, I do have somebody to sit with. I do. Okay, never mind that. I'm excited.
Lashell's going, isn't she?
You guys.
In Canada, I wish.
Yeah, but it's going to be in Toronto on June 13th, so details are on my Facebook and whatnot. Yeah, hopefully I spell my name right and all that jazz.
Awesome. Okay, well, thanks again so much, JC, for joining us tonight, and Lashell, it's always lovely to see your beautiful face. But I think that's all we have for tonight, so if everyone wants to say goodbye, we'll go ahead and click off air until June.
Bye.
So bye. Bye.